Coming up on episode 172 of Creative Writing, I'm talking about marketing for authors who hate marketing.
I can't go back to sleep, it's almost light. These restless thoughts have kept me up again tonight.
Hello and welcome to Creative Writing. I'm your host, Kirsten Oliphant, and this is the podcast for you, a writer, blogger, or creative who wants to build an online platform without being smarmy. And today, speaking of smarmy, we're talking about marketing, which doesn't have to be smarmy. And if you're not sure what smarmy means, it's one of my favorite words. It means sleazy, icky, that gross used car salesman feeling, which none of us want to have about selling our creative works. But we still need to sell our creative works, right? That's why you're listening. You're not listening if you're writing for the love of writing. Or maybe you are. Maybe you're writing for the love... No, maybe you're listening for the love of writing and marketing, which is the happy place when you make money doing what you love, right? And if that's you, then we want to learn how to do that without feeling icky or gross about it. So tonight, as I'm recording this is based on a talk I gave today at the Houston Independent Writers Lunch with the same topic, marketing for authors who hate marketing. And I have a freebie. It's going to be up at creativewriting.com/172. Just a very easy peasy PDF that you can download because this is a very streamlined version of marketing, a very easy, quick breakdown of marketing. And honestly, a lot of this, I hesitated to do it on the podcast because a lot of this is stuff I've covered before in bits and pieces, but this is one big place that you can find all of it. So I'm going to go ahead and start talking about marketing. And I hope, my goal is by the end of this, you maybe still won't love marketing, but you'll feel a little bit better about it. That's my goal. So let me know. You'll have to tag me on Twitter at Kiki Mojo or come into the Facebook group, creativewriting.com/community. And I feel like I've talked too much today. I'm going to be kind of messing up my words, but that's fine. We're going to go ahead and just keep moving on talking about marketing. So what is marketing really? The reality is that I think for many of us as creatives, marketing to us is synonymous with sales and icky promotion and sell, buy my book. That's why we don't like it, because we also don't like it when people do that to us. But that's not really how I want you to think about marketing, because the best marketing is not that. So if you're breaking it down into the simplest parts for authors, marketing is the act of authors connecting with their ideal readers, hopefully to sell books, but connecting with those ideal readers who want to buy your books. That's it. It's making that connection. It's getting your books in front of the right readers. That is a much nicer way to think about it than the way I think we typically do. And that's where you have to start. So if you hate marketing, you may not love it. This week I had a book launch and I did not always love marketing. I spent a lot of time setting up ads and looking at cost and clicks and sales reports and all of that kind of stuff and keyword, just lots of things where I really have a couple books I'd really rather be writing, but it's launch week. And so I had some stuff to do. However, when you don't like marketing and when you're frustrated about marketing and when you think I don't want to do it, you need to start with the way you're thinking about it and reframe the conversation. Okay, if you're a reader, you love books and you want to find the right books. Wouldn't it be nice if you could find those books easily by someone recommending to you the right books for you? That's what we're trying to do as authors, is get our books in front of the right readers who want them. They want your books. It's not like you're trying to force something on people who don't want it. They want your books. Find them. That's what marketing is. So when you're feeling frustrated, start by reframing the conversation and change the way you're talking about it to yourself in your head. Change the way you're thinking about it. Remember that the ultimate goal is to find readers for your works. And I think that that really does help. You might be surprised. I'm not a very woo-woo person thinking about all the mindset stuff, but I will say when you shift your mindset about things, it does make a difference. And this is a huge way to do that. So start there. Now, when we're talking about marketing, I'm going to break it down into 4 main pillars. This is me. This is not saying these are the only 4 pillars, because there are so many other things we're not talking about, like in-person events or out-of-the-box events. But here are the main 4 that I think are the most important, especially if you're just starting out or starting to establish yourself or trying to just get more sales. The first is the direct approach, which is email. The second is public, and that's social media. The third is paid, which is, wait for it, ads and advertising. And the fourth is networking, which is working with other authors. So I'm going to run down each of these in a little bit more detail, might share some more specific tips, but like generally speaking, this is meant to be a very streamlined version. So if you're feeling overwhelmed by marketing, you can come back to this and be like, okay, there's 4 pillars. I'm going to pick a pillar today. And I'm going to remind myself that this is about connecting with my ideal readers. They want my books. They're looking for it. I'm helping them out. That's what it's about. So direct approach, email. And if you've been around for a while, are you really surprised that I'm starting with email? I'm sure you aren't. Also, shout out to Taylor Bradford, who emailed me this week and said that apparently on his podcast episode this week, Pat Flynn said, email is the new thing, or it's back or something. And I just laughed because it never went anywhere. Email has changed so little since like 1990, whatever, 90s. It's been the same for a long time. It's a dinosaur. It's a classic. But the benefit of that is there's no algorithm. Yes, some things have changed. Gmail has tabs now. Different things have changed, spam, all that. However, email has not dramatically changed. It has not had a Facebook level event like in 2013 or 2014 when organic Facebook page reach died and all the marketers cried for a long time. That's not happening with email. It's just not. So email is a classic. It's my favorite. I'm going to always come back to it. This is the direct way, the best way, and the most direct way you can contact your readers. Now, you obviously have to get them to where you can contact them on your email list. But once you have an email list, that is your direct line to your audience. So it's vastly important and the most important thing, the foundation. So if you're trying to figure out, okay, well, as an author then, and I want to start marketing here, what do I do? Well, you're going to first create content. And by that, I mean a freebie to give people. And I know you're probably sick of hearing about freebies, but here's the reality. It doesn't have to be enormous. It doesn't have to be a whole book. It doesn't have to be a giant thing. What it needs to be is something that represents the rest of your writing. And it needs to be something that people want, and that's going to connect them to your other work. So let me give you an example. As I launched the Sullivan Gray pen name, I already actually had a list built up pretty well, not huge, but like 1,000 people, which is good for not having launched anything. And I gave away an entire book, partially for market testing. There's a whole long reason for that, but I haven't launched that book yet. I wanted to get some new, fresh readers in the door. And we were working on this book, Supernatural Reform School, and I came up with an idea for a backstory of one of the characters, one of the main characters. And so I sat down and in a day or two wrote a 12,000, I think if it's under 50 page prequel. It's like 3 or 4 chapters, and it's a backstory to a character. So you don't have to read it before you read the book, which means that at the end of the book, I put the freebie in there. So, hey, if you want to read more about Sebastian and his backstory about how he became a dragon shifter who can't shift and why he's here, then go back and read his backstory. But I also gave it away for free before I even had the book written. And so I was already growing my list before that happened. So 12,000 words, 50 pages or so. And it was a lot of fun because here's the reality. If you're a writer, we write. That's what we do. And so it was another chance. Instead of thinking of it as a burden, I thought of it as another story to tell, and one that I got very excited about. It was a lot of fun to write the freebie, but it wasn't enormous. It's bite-sized, but it gets people into the world. It gets them into the specific characters that I'm selling. So don't think that you have to give away an entire book. You can also give away teaser chapters of your current book. And I know people doing that and growing their lists right now, just using 3 chapters of a book. And then at the end of those 3 chapters, they have a link to the pre-order of where to buy it. So it doesn't have to be a really long thing. You can do whatever it is that you want, as long as the content is related to what you're planning to publish. And I think that that matters. So you're not going to want to give away like a memoir-y piece of writing when you're selling fiction. Although memoirs are great and can have a great voice, it has to be related. So create a piece of content. You're a content creator. You can do that. Don't think it's a huge thing. And then you need to promote it. You can't just create it. I use sites like Story Origin, BookFunnel, BookCave, or Prolific Works. Those will promote your free content to people, but you can also send traffic there. So there's already going to be a little bit more traffic there. You can also give it away in your blog, but then you also have to grow blog traffic. So I try to keep it as simple as possible and put it on places that already have traffic from other places. So BookFunnel is going to get traffic from other places. I don't have to necessarily drive traffic there, but I can also pay for ads to go there. I can also join group author promos through those different sites. So there have been a couple of genre specific, like young adult paranormal type group author events, and where every person whose book was on that page, which they set up the page for you, we all were emailing our lists about it. So then your book is getting in front of all of those other readers who are targeted to your genre. And then you can create a very simple welcome series through your email system. I think mine is like maybe 3 emails long, where I just talk about what I'm going to send. I talk about the book that they can actually buy that's related to the one that they got for free. It's not huge. In fact, I think I need to go update it now that the first book is live. Very easy, very simple. And this is a great way to start and build your email list. If you're going to do this, I would highly recommend using a professional book cover. Again, you don't have to spend, I've talked about this before in other episodes, you don't have to spend tons and tons of money depending on your genre. If you're doing a sample chapter, I might put sample somewhere on the cover so people know, or teaser or preview, so that people aren't thinking they're getting a full book and then getting mad, because you want expectations to be met. But using a professional book cover, editing it as well as you can, and creating a good product that relates to your other products. And that's the best way to start your email list. Very basic. And then you have people you can email directly when your book is out. So social media, this is a public thing. So email, you're directly emailing those people. Social media is almost like a shotgun approach. You're shooting things out into the public. People may or may not see it. Social media does not sell as many books as email. It just doesn't. Now, there are some exceptions to that. I actually talked to an author this week, and she's in a genre where it's possible. There's so many reader groups that are so incredibly active that she did nothing to promote her latest launch except go in different Facebook groups with permission from the author and either have the author introduce her books, or she went in and posted when it was appropriate and followed the group rules, or did takeovers or different things like that. And that's how she sold her books. So, that can happen too. But for the most part, social media is not the best seller. So you can feel free to not spend as much time there as you think. But social media is much more about engaging with your readers. It's about brand awareness. It's about getting your book out there and seen again and again, because the more people see something, the more buzz is built and the more likely they are to buy. They say sometimes in marketing that people need to see something 7 times before they buy. Now, I will say often that's not true for me. I buy something right away. It just depends what it is, but that can be true. And I know sometimes the more I see things, the more I'm tempted to buy them. So it is good to get your product in front of people, get yourself in front of people, and connect with your readers. So if you're thinking about social media and you're overwhelmed, just pick one platform. You don't have to be everywhere. Pick a platform you like that you feel like you can engage with without feeling like it's killing your soul. For me, that's Facebook, and it's not Facebook pages, it's Facebook groups. And I am in a massive number of Facebook groups, reader groups, author groups, different reasons that I'm in the different groups. The author groups, I'm not promoting my book necessarily. We might be doing cross promotion, which I'll get to when we talk about networking. But sometimes it's just asking for help or support or encouragement or hearing what's working for people. But the reader groups, those are engaging with people that are interested in the kind of content you're producing. And then according to the group rules, because that's really important, reader groups kind of go and die if authors just go in and start, here, buy my book, buy my book, buy my book. So you've got to look at the group rules, but a lot of these groups have rules in place that are super helpful for you to be able to get engaged with readers and to post engaging content, to do giveaways, and to get more people seeing your book who might not otherwise see it. So pick one platform and then show up consistently and engage with your people. Again, it's not just buy my book posts, it's finding content that engages well with people. So this might look like things like memes and GIFs or doing different games. I know you've seen them if you've been on Facebook. Different platforms might have different things. So I'm speaking specifically to what I know well, which is Facebook. But there are all kinds of different things that you can post, your own original content, or you can share from other pages. I have a few pages bookmarked on Facebook that I will go to when I want to get engagement up in my clean romance group. And I will go and say, oh, here's it's a fun graphic for book lovers. And then I go post in the group and then people comment on it, or engaging questions. Show up, engage, because the more people engage, the more they see the posts in the feed, so that when you do post a buy my book kind of post, then people will actually see it because they've been engaging with you otherwise, and they won't feel like you're just selling. So don't go crazy with social media. Pick a platform, show up every day or often, and engage. Ads, everybody's favorite place to lose their money. Am I right? Advertising is becoming more and more of a necessity in 2019. And I've talked about this in multiple episodes on the podcast, so I will link to some of those episodes in the show notes, which again, you can go to creativewriting.com/172. But advertising, the main two platforms people use right now is authors or Amazon advertising, formerly known as AMS ads, and also Facebook ads. Now, there's also what I love in terms of paid promo, which is not you having to design the ads, but using the email promotion companies like Robin Reads or eReader News Today or eNews Reader Today. I always forget which one it is. Whatever, I call it ENT, it's that one. But those are also another great way, especially if you're starting out. But when you're running ads, because it's going to become more and more imperative to run ads to get visibility, don't start out spending a ton of money, especially if you're on your very first book and you don't have a backlist, but you want to start to test things. You don't have to spend a ton, so watch the money. Facebook will burn through it. Sometimes Amazon, it's hard to get them to spend. I created like 4 ads last week with $100 a day budget, and they spent $5, like over a week, $5 total dollars. And I was like, Amazon, here is my money. Will you please take it and sell my books? And they got better, but at first they wouldn't present my ads. So I couldn't spend any money, which meant my books weren't in front of people. So you need to test things, find out how to run these ad platforms. And if it's stressful for you to find out, pick a book. I like Help My Facebook Ads Suck by Mal Cooper. There's also a book, Mastering Amazon Ads by Brian D. Meeks. Those are fantastic, like under $10 or under ways to learn better how to use the platform from authors. So you can work on that and continue to test and get better. And then make sure your product is solid. Do not run ads if your cover is not professionally designed. Just for the most part, you're going to lose your money. Don't run ads if you haven't worked on your blurb really for Amazon. And, these are all things also you should just be constantly working on making those better and making sure your genre or your cover is genre specific, that it tells readers exactly what it is, and that your blurb is alluring to people so that you're not just dumping money into something that people aren't going to buy. So if you're getting a lot of clicks from your Amazon ads or Facebook, but then people aren't buying or borrowing via Kindle, like if you're not seeing a jump in your rank, because it's hard to track sometimes, if you're not seeing those changes, it means that there's probably something wrong on your sales page. So either the cover or the blurb. But ads are really important, but they don't have to be overwhelming. Pick a platform and learn. And if you're just starting out, then consider asking the other authors in your genre or looking in different Facebook groups, because there's a lot of conversations about this in the different groups about which email promotion sites are working well right now for that genre. And then the fourth of the pillars is other authors, networking with other authors. And this is massively important. And I think the very best thing that I did as starting out with Clean Romance under the Emma St. Clair pen name, but also as Sullivan Gray, I actually spent the last 2 or 3 weeks looking for Facebook groups, both for authors who are writing the same kind of stuff, but also for readers, and both are important. But when it comes to other authors, the reason I want to connect with other authors in my genre is for cross promotion. There are often things like group sales, which you can actually run through sites like Story Origin, where it's not just a freebie, but you can all mark your books down to 99 cents, all sign up for a group sale, and then Story Origin puts it together for you, which is fantastic. So you don't have to even set up the web page. They set it up and make it all pretty and do all the things, and then people click through and buy your book. So cross promotion through group sales, you can do Facebook takeovers with other authors, like I mentioned another author doing, or asking people to post in their Facebook groups for you, doing some kind of swap like that, where you get to do it in their group, they get to do it in your group. It's massively important to make those connections for those kinds of things. And newsletter swaps, where you're sending an email out to your list about their book, they're sending one out to their list about your book. And you'd want to do this with the authors who are in your genre, because you want to be as close as you can to what you're selling also. And sometimes, especially in other kind of areas, this would be difficult because it would be too competitive. But when it comes to books, especially fiction, I really don't think we're in competition with each other. The readers that I'm in some reader groups, and some of my readers read multiple books a day. They need more books, okay? I don't have to worry about sending them a couple book links a week because they've already read those books in a day. So don't think of it like that. Think of it as how you can help each other sell books, because these readers are voracious and they want more books to read. So we're doing them a service. We're providing some books that we like, and books from other authors that we know and trust. And I would recommend also just going to Amazon and do the look inside feature. Check out the first couple pages of the book. I've done that before with Clean Romance. Sometimes people tried to swap and their books were not clean, and it was clear from the look inside that they had content that was not in line with what it was supposed to be. I also, there was one who wanted to swap, and when I checked out her book, she was doing what's called book stuffing, which means that it was one book with like 6 other books behind it, which violates Amazon's terms of service and is a very scammy thing to do. So I just emailed them and said, hey, I don't know if you know, I know you know actually, but I don't know if you know this, but you're doing something called book stuffing and it's violating terms of service, and I'm not going to swap with you. So you want to check the books out to make sure you're sending something quality. You may not have time to read every book. You probably will not have time to read every book you swap with, but at least make sure you've kind of vetted them a little bit and that they're appropriate for your list. And then just for the support, I have so many author friends who are in different genres. We'll never share for each other really, because it wouldn't make sense for our audiences. But I'm right there. If I read their books, I leave a review. I'll check them out on KU. If I'm in a reader group for their genre, I'll say, oh, I love this book for them. But I might not share it with my list because it's not in the right genre. But we also will share what's working, what's not working. We'll talk about when we're frustrated, and just in general, be there to support each other. And that's, again, I really feel like the most I learned and the best marketing I did was connecting with other people. So those are the 4 pillars. We've got email, social media, ads, and networking. But now we're going to back up. And I'm ending with this, even though this is like foundational before you start. But the best marketing is really going to start by positioning your book correctly for the market. And there's this term writing to market. And I don't know if Chris Fox coined it, but he absolutely wrote the book on it. But writing to market sometimes gets a bad name because people think it means selling out. And we don't have to talk about what selling out means. I'm just not even going to talk about it because we don't always know people's motivations and we all have a different why. Your why might be to make money if you can, but you're enjoying it. My why at the moment is to help pay the mortgage. And so I might need to make different decisions. I've talked about that before on the show too. And it's okay to make money with your writing and your creative work. It is okay. And we all have our different lines for what feels right to us. But writing to market is really finding a place that readers are reading that is also something you're interested in writing, and then writing in that way and satisfying the expectations of the readers looking for those kinds of books in that genre. So when I started writing in Clean Romance, that was not my favorite genre, but I thought that I could write it. And so I researched the heck out of it where I published a book. Actually, I published something short and made a whole lot of mistakes because I hadn't researched enough. Then I went and researched and really fell in love with the genre and fell in love with writing that kind of book, which was surprising to me. But I chose it because I knew it was profitable. I absolutely had a why of needing to make some money at that time, and I thought that I could do it and enjoy it and not feel like selling out, and I did. So that is what writing to market looks like. It's not necessarily selling out. It's not writing something you hate because it makes money. It's finding there's a lot of genres making money. It's finding one of them that you can write happily, and then doing that and researching, knowing the genre expectations, knowing what the covers look like, knowing the tropes or the conventions that fit inside of that little niche or that little space that you're writing in to market, knowing the details of the blurbs in first person or third person. What is the length of the books? What kind of pricing do they have? What kind of keywords? What do the titles look like? All of those things. And you can learn all that by just spending some time on Amazon, clicking through the different categories, clicking through and looking at the kinds of books that are in each category, whether they're traditionally published or if they are independently published. And you can tell that on each book sales page. If you want more on that, I think I talk about that in Niching Down a Notch, which is episode 150. So you can go back and look for episode 150. I think the show notes are creativewriting.com/150. And I have like a little slideshow presentation from when I actually presented on that for another local writers group. But you can spend a whole lot of time researching on Amazon. There's some great tools like Kindle Spy or Publisher Rocket that will really help with that. Or Klytics also talks about different genres that are selling well. And I'll have links to all of those in the show notes. But spend some time knowing your market, find a market that makes you happy to write in, but is also making money, and then make sure that your product, your book is positioned in the best way that it can be to meet those reader expectations, because all the success you're going to have in marketing is going to stem from how well you meet those reader expectations. Readers are hungry for books. Is your book cover, blurb, conveying what's actually in the book? Is your book good? Because I will say there are some books that rise to the top and sell well, they're terrible. But often you'll see books that are really done well rising to the top as well. And one of the people I got to see today at lunch was Jamie Albright, who's a local author, and she writes steamy romance. And I love her books. They're fantastic. They take place in Texas. She has a phenomenal writing voice. And unlike someone like me who's writing a book a month, she's putting out sometimes 1 or 2 a year and making a full-time income. And her books are phenomenally written. And she has continued to use sort of the guerrilla tactics of networking and everything else, but also stepped up her ads game. And then as she's made more money, continued to invest in her ads. So it doesn't have to look like just one way, but authors who are doing well, readers will connect with your books. And so do your books a good service by making great writing, making good covers, good choices about all those things, and positioning them well before you dive into your email and your social media and your ads and networking. Because I can tell you that as an author who's networking, if I see someone trying to do newsletter swaps and they have a terrible cover, I'm really not as thrilled to swap with them because I don't want to put bad products in front of my readers. So get those things right beforehand. This is really just a super crash course, and let's circle back to the beginning. If you hate marketing, reframe the conversation in your mind. It doesn't have to be icky sales, and it doesn't have to be an enormous thing you can't tackle. Tackle one thing at a time. If you're just starting out, start with your email list. Consider what content you can offer for free and then offer it. Pick a social media platform and then show up and engage. It's okay if you start small. We all do. Ads, grow them as you go. I didn't invest a lot when I was first starting out. Like the amount I'm investing right now in my young adult is way more than I ever would have invested in my clean romance when I started out. And that's because I have the money from my clean romance to finance this. And also because I know more what I'm doing. My Facebook ads are working and are going to bring me readers for the long haul. And I've got multiple books coming out under that pen name. So I have a plan. I'm not doing it willy-nilly. I'm not just dumping money in. But again, start small and grow. And then build those author relationships from the beginning. Both authors that are in other genres who can just be someone you can talk to, but authors in your own genre that you can cross-promote with and grow. So don't hate marketing. Marketing is just serving up books to hungry readers and giving them the book that they deserve by writing your best stuff. Be proud of what you do, get it in front of the right people. So anytime you're struggling, just remember that. Little bites at a time, and it's not something terrible. Okay? I hope that this is helpful to you guys. And if you want to have like a printout of this, I have a freebie. You can head over to creativewriting.com/172. I'm going to offer it free to my email list. If you're already on my email list at the time of this recording, we're at August 23rd, I think is where we're at. If you're already on my list right now, you're going to get it in the quick fix this week. But if not, then go ahead and go there. You can sign up and you will get that freebie and also start getting the quick fix, which is my weekly marketing tips and resources email for writers, bloggers, and creatives. And if you want to just get the quick fix, you can go to creativewriting.com/quick fix. Thank you guys so much for listening. I hope that this was helpful. I know I talk a lot about these various pieces, but I think that it's good to have them all in one place as well. It's kind of a start here in marketing for authors. But I do have a ton of other episodes, so go back through and look, because chances are I've talked about it if you have a question about it. And if you want to ask me a question or ask me to talk about something on the podcast, you can head over to the free Facebook group at creativewriting.com/community. Thank you so much to Jasmine Commerce of JasmineCommerceMusic.com for the tunes for this show. And if you head over to her website, you can hear more music just like this. Now it's time for you to go out and create content that you love to serve your people well.